Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to wherever you're at in the world. We are streaming live on musicmaniatelevision.com, and we would like to give a shout out to all of the people that are online checking us out. Big up to all of you people. Thank you for our audience for coming in tonight. This is Reed and Frederick Douglass Together, RFDT 2025, hashtag RFDT 25, Smash Humanities funded program. We'd like to thank Major Taylor Museum for hosting us tonight and thank them for being a gracious host throughout the day. We had a thrilling first program. It was so thrilling, I forgot to do my speech. So what you guys are going to get entertained with is my words from that I would have did earlier today. All right. Thank you for coming here today. We appreciate the times we are in and the legacy we all continue to endure. I want to apologize in advance that I'm not using my words today. I will use these words to illustrate our history of fighting the good fight. I will cover the past, over 200 years ago, the present, within the last 100 years, and our future. I will begin. On May 8, 1866, Thaddeus Stevens delivered this speech introducing the 14th Amendment in the U.S. House of Representatives. I can hardly believe that any person could be found who will not admit that every one of these provisions is just. They are all asserted in some form or another in our Declaration or organic law. But the Constitution limits only the actions of Congress, and it's not a limitation on the states. This amendment supplies that defect and allows Congress to correct the unjust legislations of the states. So far that the law which operates under one man shall operate equally upon all. Whatever law punishes a white man for a crime shall punish the black man precisely in the same way and to the same degree. Whatever law protects the white man shall afford equal protection to the black man. Whatever means of redress is afforded to one shall be afforded to all. Whatever law allows the white man to testify in court shall allow the man of color to do the same. These are great advantages over their present codes. Now, different degrees of punishment are inflicted not on account of the magnitude of the crime, but according to the color of their skin. Now, different degrees. Now, color disqualifies a man from testifying in court or be tried in the same ways as white men. I need not enumerate these partial and oppressive laws. Unless the Constitution shall restrain them, Civil Rights Bill, the Civil Rights Act of 1866 secures the same things. That is partially true. But a law is repealable by a majority. And I need hardly say that the first time that the South with their Copperhead allies obtain the command of Congress, it will be repealed. The veto of the president and their votes on the bill are conclusive evidence of that. And yet, I am amazed and alarmed at the impatience of certain well-meaning Republicans at the exclusion of the rebel states until the Constitution shall be so amended as to restrain their despotic desires. This amendment, once adopted, cannot be annulled without 2/3 of Congress. That they will hardly get, and yet certain of our distinguished friends propose to admit state after state before this becomes part of the Constitution. What madness! Is that judgment misled by their kindness, or are they unconsciously drifting into the haven of power at the other end of the avenue? I do not suspect it, but others will. Now, this is a time of America, a phrase called the first Reconstruction. We know it to be the first because of the second phase marked. We will begin with the words of Fannie Lou Hamer. The fight for the rights of black continued until the arms, heads, and legs of Miss Fannie Lou Hamer. And if you want to imagine this, it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. One of these men was a state highway patrolman, and he asked me where I was from. I told him Ruleville, and he said, "We are going to check this." They left my cell, and it wasn't too long before they came back. He said, "You are from Ruleville, all right?" And he used a cuss word. And he said, "We are going to make you wish you was dead." I was carried out of that cell into another cell where they had 2 Negro prisoners. The state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro to take the blackjack. The first Negro prisoners ordered me, by orders from the state highway patrolman, for me to lay down on the bunk bed on my face. I laid on my face and the first Negro began to beat. I was beat by the first Negro until he was exhausted. I was holding my hands behind me at the time of my left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old. After the first Negro had beat until he was exhausted, the state highway patrolman ordered the second Negro to take the blackjack. The second Negro began to beat, and I began to work my feet. And the state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro who had beat me to sit on my feet to keep me from working my feet. I began to scream, and one white man got up and began to beat me in my head. He told me to hush. One white man, my dress had worked up high. He walked over and pulled my dress. I pulled my dress down, and he pulled my dress back up. I was in jail when Medgar Evers was murdered. All this on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America? The land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off the hook because our lives are threatened daily. Because we want to live as decent human beings in America. Now, these are the words from Fannie Lou Hamer. As I said, this was the past 200 years ago, present 100 years ago, and actually, there's nothing left on this page. The pages are blank. They are waiting to be written by some of you that are here. Those within the sound of my voice, it's up to you to continue this. Thank you, guys. Now, to continue with the program, we have a compelling recitalist. I love that. I had to take that. I was like, I stole it off his page. Christon is a community person. He's a leader in the community. He has taken time out to come today after a leadership summit. So what we want to do is just give him a round of applause for being here and having a long day and wanting to be this compelling recitalist that you're going to experience today. So without further ado, I'm going to move here. I'm going to put the microphone down, and then we're going to allow Christon to come do his thing.
Thank you for bearing with us a moment.
Yeah, if you want, I can try to use the mic. Everywhere.
My steps in the word, good Lord, lead me, guide me every day. Send your anointing on the way. Order my steps in your word. Please order my steps in your word. My steps in your word,
That's a chatting. Well, this is what we're trying to do. We want to showcase that we can do this at this level. You know what I mean? That we could come into a place like this and have people like this do things like this. And this is just the beginning of that. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for being a part of it. Give another round of applause to Christon. We'll have him come back later on. So now what we're going to have is opportunity to share in some people that are all the way across the Mass Pike. Drove all the way down here to be a part of what we got going on. Sam Bradley is president of the Pan-African Historical Museum, the USA, PAHMUSA, which is in Springfield, 1500 Main Street in Springfield, for some of you guys that may want to check out what PAHMUSA is all about. It's an opportunity for you guys to experience something that I experienced for the first time, and it was like, it's empowering, overwhelming. They got some stuff in there that you're gonna look and be like, get out of here, and this is for real. This is what has happened with the emergence of people of culture putting out things that may offend other people, but this is what it was. So offended or not, you need to know what it is, so that way you don't repeat the offense. I mean, I'm just gonna leave that there. PAHMUSA, P.A.S.T, their performing arts crew is here, and they are going to perform What to the Slave is the 4th of July by Frederick Douglass. So without further ado, here they come.
My name is Frederick Douglass, the most photographed person in the 19th century. Let's make that true. All right? Okay. I was born into slavery around 1818 in a small town called Talbot County, Maryland. I was never sure of my exact birth date because my mother was sold to another plantation soon after I was born. However, I used the date February 14th, the date for lovers. See, my mother was an enslaved black woman, and my father was a white man of European descent. But I've never seen my father. I don't even know what he looks like. See, I'm going to tell you something that you may or may not know. See, I was actually born not Frederick Douglass, but Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. I took on the Douglass when I had escaped and had my freedom. I then taught myself how to read, how to write, and then I was teaching other enslaved people how to read and write by using the Bible. Now this was forbidden. I was a Douglass lad who tried to run away several times. They kept selling me off to different slave masters, different plantations. They had enough of old Freddie until they transferred me to Mr. Edward Colby. He was a slave breaker. He was known for his brutal treatment of the enslaved people. He would whip me every day, every hour, every moment, until one day I said, put up your dukes. And guess what he did? He put up his dukes. We tussled and wrestled and fought for 2 hours straight until I gave up intentionally. See, I hated slave owners. I hate the slave breakers. I hated slavery. I want to put an end to it. So I had to escape, but I didn't do it alone. I had assistance from my soon-to-be wife, Miss Anna Murray. She taught me a lot of things. She taught me how to be cunning. She taught me how to be deceptive. She taught me some other things, but I won't go into that right now. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have gained my freedom when I did. After we became man and wife, we moved to this place called New Bedford, Massachusetts, where I became an eloquent speaker, a fierce leader of the abolitionist movement. You see, from 1776 to the third day, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence. People eating cherry and apple pies, hot dogs and hamburgers, fireworks, and singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer. It's a day to review their more than any other days of the year. The gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boast of liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds and rejoices are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants are brass-fronted imprudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parades, are to him a mere bombast, fraud, deception, impurity, hypocrisy, and thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. This is